President Cyril Ramaphosa says South Africa must always be at the forefront of justice and respect for human rights. The president made the remarks at the homecoming ceremony for the 42 liberation fighters whose remains were repatriated earlier this week from Zambia as well as Zimbabwe. Among those repatriated was former ANC Secretary General Duma Nokwe, composer and writer Todd Matshikiza, as well as Basil. Malungelo Booi has more on the story.
A solemn moment of gratitude to the ancestors. This interfaith service marked the start of the official homecoming ceremony for the freedom fighters whose remains were repatriated earlier this week. Decades after they first went into exile in Zimbabwe and Zambia, these gallant sons and daughters are finally back in South Africa. It's a different country to the one they fought against. Sadly, they did not live long enough to experience the spoils of their sacrifice. Florence Maposho is one of the 49 freedom fighters repatriated. For her family, the homecoming ceremony held at Freedom Park is an important milestone in their journey towards closure.
What I saw is I was somehow emotional, thinking way back how my mom fought for South Africa, our country, that one day she thought she would be with us, but somehow it didn't happen.
As the cortege left the M1 military hospital, where the remains had been housed since their arrival in the country on Wednesday, friends and former comrades of those remembered say this occasion is one they had long yearned for.
Is the moment that we've been talking about, and especially with John Nyati Pogela, who was the president of the PEC, chairman of the Central Committee, and who was buried in Zimbabwe in 1985, and in that side of the country was given state funeral. That's how he was treated there. So we've been talking about him and others, of course, that one day we would have to bring them home. And that moment has arrived. And we are grateful that it has arrived during our lifetime.
Zambian officials, where some of the liberation fighters had exiled, have committed themselves to continue working with South Africa on its repatriation project.
Their graves will continue being sacred symbols of our shared history and a testament to the deep bonds between our peoples.
President Cyril Ramaphosa believes bringing the freedom fighters back home is also about restoring their dignity.
Through this act of repatriation, what we are essentially doing is to reinstate their nationhood, their citizenship, their South Africanness, and their humanity.
Ramaphosa adds that Zambia and Zimbabwe's role in South Africa's struggle against apartheid is why the country will continue to work towards peace around the world.
Wherever peace is required, whether it is in Ukraine, whether it is in the Sudan, whether it is in the Sahel region, whether it is in northern Mozambique or eastern DRC, and whether it is in Gaza, we as South Africans must always be on the forefront of justice and respect for human rights.
Government says they are still confirming the DNA results of 7 of the 49 freedom fighters before they too are handed over to their families. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Malungelo Booi in Johannesburg.